Hello, my name is Kath, and today's daily pattern is from Genesis chapter 9 and chapter 10. Several years ago, I was asked, I think in like a small group discussion or something, what the most valuable gift I had ever been given was. And I've never been given an electric guitar or a car, and I struggled to think what the most valuable gift I had ever been given was. And in the end, I decided to say this, which is my engagement ring. I actually had to search just now to find it because I don't wear it at the moment, and it had been hidden under a piece of furniture by a small child, which probably tells you a little bit about why I don't wear it very much at the moment. And it was possibly the most valuable possession I'd ever been given in terms of financial terms. But I think the reason that it was valuable to me really was because of what it represented, the agreement it represented, the promise it represented, the covenant maybe it represented. Today's passage, Genesis 9 particularly, is all about God's covenant with Noah, God's promise to Noah. And he doesn't give Noah a piece of jewellery, but he does give him a sign and a symbol of the promise that he's making. He's promising never ever to flood the world again. He's going to let nature live and be fruitful and multiply. And he's going to let humans and all the animals and all creation do its thing as it was designed to do. That's what God promises in this chapter. And he gives Noah the rainbow as a sign to help Noah remember it. And we haven't seen any rainbows so much the last couple of weeks, but there'll be rain back soon, I'm sure, and then we'll see some beautiful rainbows, and we too can remember God's love for us and his faithfulness for us. This is just the first covenant in the Bible between God and humans, the first promise that God sets up and displays his faithfulness through. There's several more in the Old Testament with Abraham. That'll be in next week's Daily Patterns probably. And then later with Moses, as God's promising to care for his people, initially his nation Israel, then his promise to David, promises like a legacy from this family. And then we see the covenant in Jesus, realised in Jesus. All these promises of God's faithfulness and love to his people are realised eventually in Jesus. And there's lots of ways that we remember the new covenant, as the New Testament writers call it, the new promise of God's love for us, how he saved us and treasured us and longs for us to live with him, knowing his Holy Spirit with us, knowing his goodness and his love. We might have symbols such as a cross. Some of us wear a cross around our neck. We might have crosses in our house to remember God's love for us. We might think of baptism as a symbol of God's promise to renew us and to restore us and to care for us. The water of baptism, that reminder that he's healed us and he's cleansed us. Or not so much at the moment, but one day we'll get back to communion, taking bread and wine as a way of remembering God's love for us, remembering his promise to us. I wonder how you're going to remember God's love for you today, how much God cares for you, how he sent Jesus to reveal himself to you, to love you and to die for you and to rise to give you new life. God's promising to do that, and he's faithful in his promises. I wonder how you're remembering that today.